I saw the ball and I was just like, just get it. And so it was kind of weird too. Like he had it in his hands too, but
the slow mo is one of that slow mo of that pick is one of the most, in my opinion, like the craziest plays I've seen.
Before season, like I play video games so much.
Yep,
like
just gaming.
A man's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor.
Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Why, where we take you into the lives and behind the scenes of our players here at BYU. And so today we have a very special guest, a guy who's been making plays on the field left and right, been named Big 12 Player of the Week, the Law Trophy Player of the Week, has been stacking up accolades recently this season. Just a fun dude to watch all around. Everybody welcome my guy Faletau.
What up?
What's up, brother? How you been, bro?
Been great.
Good?
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, again, bro, I appreciate you for making the time just to be on here with us and, hopping on here and sharing your story. Let's go back to the beginning. You're a Bountiful cat, right? Obviously, you're from Bountiful, and that's where you grew up. Talk about life in Bountiful and family life as well.
Yeah, born in Bountiful, obviously. I love Bountiful. It's a great little city. I feel like the community around Bountiful is like just great. Everyone knows everyone. Always willing to help everybody, and the family life. Parents are married, great parents. And then I have 3 siblings: an older sister, little sister, then younger brother. All athletes, been competing with each other since we were little.
I was gonna ask you about that. So what sports do they play and things like that?
Yeah, so my older sister, a volleyball player. She plays up at the U.
Yeah.
And then little sister, a basketball player. She just committed to the U, so she'll be there next year.
Sheesh, okay.
Then little brother, still in high school, a junior, going into his senior year, and hopefully I can try and get him to come here.
Heck yeah. Let's go, man.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's 2-1, right?
Yeah,
so you got 2
the girls both at Utah. I got to get little bro here so that can keep it even.
Yeah, exactly, brother. So what position your brother plays?
Same as me, safety, and then he plays receiver too. I think he's pretty good at receiver though.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that's where he's going to end up playing?
I bet so, yeah.
Okay, because you played both, obviously, in high school, right?
Yeah,
You did both sides of the field. And I saw some of the clips, bro. You are actually a really good athlete. So what led to you being drawn more to the defense side of the ball?
I was kind of up in the air when I came down here.
Okay.
They said, I could probably play both.
Yeah.
Then when I got down here, Coach Hill kind of told all the other coaches, nah, he's going to play safety, and that's what we want him at. So Coach Hill kind of decided, and I love it. It's great.
Heck yeah. And the rest is history, huh? Well, let's backtrack back to your life as, with family. Faletau, I mean, when you first came in, what do you know your name, and what does that mean? Like, what heritage is it from?
I don't know it great. I mean, I've been told it translates to House of War.
Yeah.
Or War
or
House.
Armory, house. Yeah,
Armory,
it is.
Yeah, something similar to that. And then I'm named after, it's like the maiden name of one of my ancestors back in Tongan.
Oh,
Tonga.
okay.
So it comes from that. Other than that, though,
heck yeah,
I'm not super into.
So is your dad of Tongan descent?
Yeah, my dad's full Tongan, so both my grandparents on his side are Tongan, and then my mom's white.
Oh, heck yeah, sweet man. Well, that's awesome, brother. So obviously that's we talked a little bit about your your background and life growing up and things of that sort. I've also seen that you played multiple sports, so you weren't just a football guy, right?
Yeah.
You did basketball and you also did lacrosse, and so talk about that, man.
Yeah. So I played basketball a little bit growing up, a little bit in junior high and stuff, but my freshman year in freshman and sophomore year, I didn't really care to play basketball. I kind of just was set on football, and in the off season I wanted to train. But my dad actually really pushed me. Which I actually trust a lot now.
Yeah.
It was worth it. He said that the best athletes play multiple sports, and it'll kind of build you all around. So,
for sure.
And I ended up having the most fun playing basketball and lacrosse. Lacrosse, I don't even know how I got myself to play. It's kind of a niche sport, I would say, out here. But one of our coaches from football, he was the head coach of lacrosse, and he was like, just come out and try it.
Was this your freshman year?
This was my sophomore year.
Okay.
So I went out my sophomore year, and those are some of the greatest dudes I ever met. I was playing lacrosse with them, some of the nicest dudes, and Then the sport itself, it was actually way fun. Like you'll never think it's too great, but
we had Max on here as well who played lacrosse, and he talked about like the in and outs of lacrosse and kind of how some things translate to the game.
There's so many rules in lacrosse. Like my senior year of high school, I was still learning rules. Like it was a lot, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun playing, and definitely helped translate athletically going into football season.
No, for sure. I mean, I was gonna ask you too. Like, when did you know that? Like, or did you always know that football was kind of the sport for you, that you were gonna play football, and that was your mind was set on it?
Yeah, I would say yeah. When I was little, I told my dad like I'm going to the league.
Yeah,
that's my dream.
Yep.
And so ever since then, that was my dream to go to the league. I would say I was playing soccer when I was little, and then when I was 8 years old, my dad told me I had to pick between soccer and football because same season in fall. And obviously I chose football. And so since then, like just every year, football was my main priority and just always training for it. And that was my goal in life. So
what part of the game of football, like what aspect do you feel like that draws you to the game?
Shoot. There's like everything about it. Just competing, I would say, is the biggest thing. Like, I feel like it's almost like human nature to want to compete and have that drive and that fight in life. So I would say that's the biggest thing, is just the feeling you get going out and knowing like you can win and lose, but like you're fighting to win every time and just putting in all this work to be great. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just the competing side of it.
And then obviously, you know, football, you knew that was going to be your thing. Like you said, you told your pops that you're going to play in the NFL and things of that sort. And you started training in the offseason specifically for football, right?
Yeah.
And obviously the goal was to get to where you are now. At what point did you really start to feel like, I know I can play at this level and I can go get to the next?
I would say junior year. It was kind of weird. Like in high school, I didn't really understand how recruiting worked.
Yeah.
I knew that you could play in college, but I didn't understand how offers worked, and like you would have to get an offer, then commit to it to go to college. So I was kind of just like going into my junior year thinking like, you know, football's so fun, I love it, but like I don't even know how to get to the next level, like what's gonna happen. And so I just started playing for fun. I was like, man, like just forget about it, just play football. And
wasn't even worried about recruiting at all.
Yeah, I didn't know like what recruiting was or how that works. So I was like, you know, I'm just playing.
Well, it worked. You had like every single school. I mean, you had USC, I seen you, Washington State, Tennessee, Vandy. You know, obviously all the top programs in Utah. You know what I mean? UCLA. You had visit there. So like, I mean, obviously it worked. You know, just focusing on having fun with football and kind of letting the recruiting thing take care of itself. Yeah. Was that kind of like the mindset? Like, you know, if it happens, it happens, or were you doing things to kind of get more seen, I guess?
I never really did anything to get more seen. I would say just training like to be the best football player I could was the biggest thing. It was kind of weird. So it was our first game. I had a pretty sick pick six that some random dude just recorded it and put it on Twitter. And it kind of blew up a little bit, and the next week I got a phone call from Utah, actually. And that was my first offer, where they called me, and I was kind of just like it didn't feel real. I was like, wow. Like,
and was this your senior year, you said?
Junior year, sorry. Yeah, so it was after our first game junior year.
Jeez.
And I was like, and that's when like it kind of blew up, and I was like, wow, like I really can play at the next level. And from then on, the next was BYU, so those two always just hand in hand.
Had been there from the beginning, huh?
Yeah, they were my first two offers, and Coach Scally and then Coach Hill were always just calling every week, just making sure everything was good and
keeping tabs with you.
Yeah. So that's what really that was like the point where I was like, wow, I can play at the next level and really do something with football.
Yeah. I mean, well, you definitely are, man. But like, obviously, you had all these, you know, big time programs that are offering you. But I saw that it came down to two schools. And it wasn't even like anywhere else. Like you just took a visit to UCLA, kind of just to get out the state. But you knew, even before then, that you wanted to be in state, right?
Yeah.
And so it came down to Utah, BYU, and I saw this story that you did on, I think it was like BTG podcast.
Yeah.
With my guys, and you said that it came like it was something with a coin flip, whatever. I'm gonna let you talk about it. So. Yeah, you got all these attention from these big time programs, but it came down to Utah and BYU. How did you come to the decision to be here in Pro Bowl?
So it was narrowed down to Utah and BYU. I knew I wanted to stay in state. I love the coaches and the programs. And I had to sign early. There's an early signing period in December. I think it's December 21st or something around there. And this was like mid basketball season, and I kind of pushed off all of the coaching and recruiting and stuff. Like going into my senior year, I kind of told coaches like, I'll figure it out later. I'm just trying to play football. So I pushed it off all the way to the last second. We had a basketball game that night, and I was just coming home, and it was like 10 o'clock, and my parents were telling me like, this is the night you have to decide like, to make sure you sign and let the coaches know. So I was just bouncing ideas off them, like just sitting in my living room, pros and cons of each school, and like super similar schools, obviously. There wasn't anything with one or the other beating each other. So my mom jokingly was like, man, like might as well flip a coin as a joke. But I kind of was like, you know what? It's not a bad idea.
Right up to God, huh?
Yeah. So I went to my room just by myself, and I just kneeled down and said a prayer. And I was like, God, like this is it. This is going to be my life. So I want to leave it in your hands and just let me know where I need to go.
Wow.
And I put it on a coin flip, and it landed on BYU.
That's crazy.
And I just came upstairs to my parents, and I was like, BYU it is.
That is so crazy.
Like, yep.
And that's literally the reason why you ended up coming here? Was that really, but you prayed about it, obviously? And
that was like on the coin flip was just where it tipped over, and I felt like at peace with it then. Like, it kind of was like in my head just going back and forth. Like I feel like I could never decide what I wanted to do. So that was kind of the point where I was like this is it. There's no turning back now. Heck
yeah, bro. Well, you're here in Provo now, and obviously you got here. You were a true freshman last year. This is your true sophomore year. Kind of walk us through, your transition from obviously, coming from Bountiful and then being in Provo, specifically from the football standpoint. You know what I mean? What were some things that was how would you say, like an adjustment for you, whether it's the speed of the game or whatever it may be, coming from high school ball to college ball? Yeah,
there was a big jump, I would say. Just overall, like mentally and physically. When I first came down, I think the mental side of it was the hardest for me with football. Like in high school, I never played man coverage in my life. So coming up here,
zone,
coming up here is just like a whole new thing to learn how to play man, and then just understanding the scheme. Like Coach Hill wanted us to know what every person on the field was doing, especially like what all the DBs at least were doing. And I was still just trying to learn like what the safety did, and then what the free safety did, and what the strong safety did, and I was lost on the strong safety for the most part. Like, I didn't understand how deep football was really, and how much every little piece matters. So I just learned free safety my freshman year, and it's kind of like super easy now that I think about it. It's like you're either in the post or deep half. And so looking back, like I definitely feel kind of dumb about knowing football for how much I know now.
Yeah.
But that was a big jump, and so that was probably the hardest part, was just mentally. And then obviously, in college with all these grown men who are just shredded and like you, coming out and seeing a dude like you, and it's like, man, like these dudes are big and they're physical, and so that was also a little bit of growing when I came down here. But then I would say the off season going into sophomore year was where I got the most physically, having a full off season going into this season of, working out and sprinting against all the dudes and lifting with all of them. And I definitely got a lot bigger and stronger and faster. And then from spring ball to now, like just being able to be in the system and learn the mental side of football has definitely like exponentially grown for me. I feel like that's the biggest part that has helped me the most, was understanding the game so much now.
Yeah. Well, how big of a role does Jay Hill play in that, in your, development in your IQ with the football?
I would say like he's played the biggest role in it. He's a genius on the field, off the field. Like when it comes to football and when it comes to life, that dude is probably one of the greatest mentors I'll ever have in life. So just having him around and teaching the game to me has been great. Yeah. But I think I'm more grateful for the off the field stuff. Like he just has taught me how to be a man more, and how to do everything right, and just make sure that like I'm on the right path to get where I want to. So I give all the credit to him.
Oh yeah, bro. So like obviously that transition you talked about from your freshman year to your sophomore year, one of the biggest things was obviously getting physically, stronger, faster, so you can compete with these other bigger dudes, whatever it may be, and then mentally for the game, right? And you've taken huge strides from your freshman year to now. I mean, you've had plays you made last year, as a true freshman, and everybody's like, oh, this kid's gonna be special. But obviously this year, you're doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? You've been nominated. I mean, not even just nominated. You've been the Big 12 Player of the Week, Defensive Player of the Week, and as a Lot Trophy Player of the Week. What do those things mean to you? Do they add pressure or fuel to like, to your mentality?
I think it's good. It's like along the path, like you kind of need those things to show that you're going in the right direction to get where you want to. But I feel like I try and balance it, and I don't want to like let it get to me too much. Of like getting a little high headed, and obviously I feel like a little bit I have let it get to me and be like, man, like I'm good at football. But at the same time, Coach Hill always tells us like you kind of got to find a balance of how much you let the outside noise be there for you. And so yeah, I think it's a good like spot if you can handle it right. Which there's been good and bad with me trying to handle like getting better at football and stuff. So I think just it's how you take it. Like how I've taken it has been.
It's kind of like go back to
enough.
like, I mean, our coaches talk about all the time, right? It's just a matter of staying like even keel no matter what happens, right? Like you stay at this like level headed the entire time, even through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, right? And I feel like that's where the best players kind of just stay at, right? And I think you really do a good job of doing it. I don't really see you like, I think it's important to obviously celebrate, the accolades and things you accomplish. But at the end of the day, like, there's so much more you want to accomplish. You know what I mean? These are just steps along that way. And
sure.
I see that you do that week in and week out. By the way you play. And speaking of by the way you play, you're making plays all over the field. What are some things in your game this year that you're trying to really focus on and really improve in as opposed to early freshman Faletau?
I would say the biggest two things for me were the physicality of the game. Coming in as a freshman, in high school I was kind of bigger than everybody, so I never really had to be super physical. I could just like tackle people, and it wasn't terribly hard. But like there's some good backs out there now and receivers and stuff. So I think just being more physical was a big thing, especially with tackling. And then just understanding the game and being in the right spot and like trusting the instincts of like, I know where this dude's trying to get the ball to, so like get there. Those are the two biggest things I feel like I worked on coming into this year. And Coach Hill definitely helped me a lot, especially with the tackling and physical part of it. Like every day we're just doing short stretch drills and then making sure we're striking. And he's like along the way he's always given me those little compliments of like man, it's night and day of how much more physical you've got and how much faster you've got. So I think having a coach who like is hard on you but also gives you the compliments when he knows you need them is great.
I mean, being a safety, are there like, obviously being physical is really important, hitting hard and things of that sort. Are there certain like things in like the safety game, like the aspects of it, like whether it's physicality, coverage ability, whatever it may be, that you take more pride in more than others? Like I feel like you're such a very physical back, but at the same time you're very nifty in the way you cover guys, and obviously with your length and your size, you're able to be a little bit more of, how would you say, you can cover guys a lot I want to say easier, but in a way it kind of easier. Being your size and stuff like that. Do you take more pride in being more physical or like more like being a cerebral type of guy?
I'd say I'm still working a lot on there's so much more space for me to grow mentally. I feel like a big thing just I've always had is obviously size and being able to still be really athletic at the size I am. So I think making those plays where maybe you wouldn't be able to make it if you're a little smaller or something, and being able to cover a little more area and just like have more presence for the quarterback, where he's like, man, if I throw this dude might tip it or something. So like I feel like that's a big thing that I would say separates me a little bit from other safeties, but there's still, I feel like mentally I can work on a lot more to be smarter and use my athleticism and length a lot more. So
well, I definitely think you've mentally improved a lot in your game, but also just like mental fortitude in terms of being a leader and being a good player when it comes to like facing adversity. And you've already experienced this in the Iowa State game, right? Obviously, things things going to happen. Big touchdowns going to be given up. Everybody knows that happens in the game of football. But being able to bounce back from that, that's the hardest part. You know what I mean? That's the part where I think separates, good players from the great players. And obviously, we all know how that ended. You know what I mean? You really put the dagger in the coffin, you know what I mean? Or the nail in the coffin to end that game with that interception. Kind of walk us through that entire game and kind of, the thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, that was like just rough. The first play of the game, just getting beat on a like
routine
75-yard touchdown. Yeah. Like, it almost took the air out of like our team for a second, and that was like 100% my fault. Just bad coverage. Gotta have better eyes. But then after that, like coming off to the side, I had it almost got annoying of everyone telling me like, dude, keep your head up, you're good. Like, it was so many people just over and over, and I was like, dang, like I'm really trying to keep my head up, but it feels like everyone keeps telling me that, and it's like
right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But I kind of took it like after a lot of people, I was like, man, like these dudes really care about me and like just want me to keep playing better, and so just throughout the rest of the game, I was trying. Like that first half was a little bit of a struggle for me to get out of my head, but like still over and over, like everyone just patted me on the back, letting me know like, hey man, like we know what kind of player you are, go make a play. Yep. And then throughout the game it kind of built up, and I started like playing good, and the drive before we went out, Coach Gav came to me and he was like I can feel that you're gonna make a play, like this is it. I don't know what it is, but I can just feel it. And then we go out there and second play of the drive,
Yep.
I just felt it coming, and pick six is crazy.
It's because you have flat control on that play. Kind of walk us through like that entire play, and then all of a sudden you're running with the ball in your hand. And
I was the flat coverage. And on film we've seen they ran this China concept with a corner and then like an arrow under it, but the corner I was trying to pick the flat defender. So when they motioned their tight end back across the line, I could kind of tell like they were trying to get him out to the flats fast, and so I backed up and I was like, I know this dude's gonna try and pick me, so I gave myself a little more space,
so that
so he could like I could just go over the top of the pick and then jump it, and it almost like blanked when the ball came. I like it was like the weirdest thing. I just it was in both of our hands, and I ended up just somehow coming out with the ball, and I was running down the sideline, and I don't even know if I had emotion. Like everything was just blank for me.
Did you get flashbacks of your receiving days? The ball's back in your hands. Like, I should go back on the offense side of the ball.
Yeah, and I was like, even in the clip of it, like my face is just flat. And looking back, I probably should have smiled, but I was like, I was just like, wow, like
and really those happen so many times. People don't understand. There's moments in the game where it's like, wow, that just happened. But you can't even process it. You know what I mean? You run in, you just throw your celebration and run to the sideline. You just really start thinking like, man, that really just happened. You know what I mean? And so one thing I want to rewind back to that play, because obviously you've had moments. You're known as a very physical safety, especially with your size. But in that play, you really could have blown that guy up. You know what I mean? What was the decision making? Either whether you're gonna hit the dude or oh no, I'm gonna go get this ball. Like how did you come to that conclusion?
I honestly wasn't even like thinking about hitting him. I saw the ball and I was just like, just get it. And so it was kind of weird too. Like he had it in his hands too, but
the slow mo is that slow mo of that pick is one of the most, in my opinion, like the craziest plays I've seen. Because he really had possession of the ball. You were seeing it, and you legit came in there and took it away.
Yeah, bro. It was the weirdest thing. Like I don't even remember. To me, it felt like I just like kind of caught the ball and he had his hand on it, but I just like caught it and ripped it. But I didn't realize like he actually had the ball and I just took it from him. So it was really cool.
It was crazy, bro. I mean, you got multiple moments like that this season. Actually, talk about like what out of all the plays you've made, obviously so far, which one stands out the most to you and why?
Obviously the pick six I would say is the one that stands out the most, just because how rare it is to actually get a pick six. And that kind of put the nail in the coffin, like you said, that ended that game. Trying to think what other ones. I think the hit at Utah on that Utah receiver, that one was pretty crazy. Like rivalry game. That they were kind of thinking like maybe that, like we score here, we might still have a chance. But that hit, and then Jack Kelly's sack on that on that drive really just killed them, and they were like, yeah, it's over.
GG's. No, I agree. I think that's one of my favorite plays of you. It just shows the physicality that you play with, that safety position, coming down and making that, literally separating that player from the ball. And then at first, when you first watch, it's all like, oh man, I hope that wasn't targeted. And you watch a slow mo, like, bro, it was one of the cleanest hits I've seen.
Yeah.
Leading with your shoulder and doing everything right. I mean, I think that's awesome. And talking about physicality, are there safeties, people that you watch, in the NFL, maybe in the past or even now that you try to model your game after?
Yeah, I would say a lot of people compare me to Kyle Hamilton. I've watched his highlights a little bit. He's like more of the athletic, being big, but like freak athlete, still being able to play under that kind of length and stuff. Another safety I really like is Brian Dawkins. Like just his mentality, the way he plays. That dude's a monster.
Yeah.
Cam Chancellor, that's who everyone knows for like hitting big. And then actually in college right now, Caleb Downs, like everyone says he's the best safety, and I've been watching like some of his highlights before all the games. I'll actually just pull up clips of like I'll look up like just like safety highlights and find somebody who I haven't seen yet, and I'll kind of just start watching their highlights and get going with the music that's to the video and stuff. And that's usually on the bus ride to the games, and I'll just like kind of get into it and start filling out how they play. And so I think actually there's been a lot of dudes who I've been watching and just trying to like see what they do and how they play to kind of be better at safety for me.
Oh, that's awesome, brother. Well, man, it's showing out there on the field, bro, with the way you play and the intensity you play with. Kind of to wrap things up, what are some goals for you this year? What are some things that you got, personal goals that you have for yourself? Obviously, it's a team sport and you got things that you want to do as a team. But individually, what are things that you're hoping to accomplish this year and, leading into next year?
I think one of my biggest goals was being a starter. Coming in with like great safeties like Tanner and Raider and Talon and Tommy, like they were all playing great and all great players. And I was a 2 for most of the season, and then Raider ended up getting hurt. So that was the Arizona game, and I ended up playing the rest of that game. And then while he was hurt, I started the other games. And right now we're both like co-starters, kind of just depending on situation and game. But I feel like that's a big thing going. Like one of my goals is, be the definite starter and the dude at safety. So that's a big goal. And then it's kind of a loftier goal, but like coming into this year, I was like, I want to get some sort of all-conference title, whether it's like first team, second team, like just something like that where it's on a bigger stage of like you're on the right track and you're going to be like good at what you're doing.
Exactly.
I feel like with that second goal, I definitely need to get my stats up a little more. I think I'm at like 60-something tackles right now.
Yeah,
so
you are.
I feel like the interceptions is better. I need a couple more. I have 3 right now, but if I can get 1 or 2 more, like just to end the season, it might help a little bit. I haven't really looked at what other safeties in the Big 12 have done yet. And then I'm trying to
be one of the top safeties, obviously, in the Big 12. For sure.
And then I think a big goal for me going into next year is just like leadership of just like the team in general. I feel like we've had those dudes like Tanner Wall, last year Tyler Batty, and just like being someone like that where I can lead the team and just be there for everyone and push the team and be a leader who can like take our team to where we want to go. Like Batty really helped take our team to be where we were at last year. And then like Tanner and Chase and Logan Latouille, like all those dudes are the ones who are taking us to where we want to be this year. And so I feel like the leadership aspect will be a big thing for me too.
That's awesome. And it's awesome to be able to learn behind those guys. They've been in the program for a while and they understand, obviously the ins and outs and now they're able to lead the way, you know what I mean? And for you to be behind those guys and learn from them from a leadership standpoint, it's going to pay great dividends for you, man. I'm excited for you and your future. But before we end, I also wanted to get to know you, get to know you a little bit better outside of football. What does Faletau do outside of football for fun, bro?
I would say outside. Okay, before season, like I play video games so much.
Like, just gaming.
With a bunch of my teammates, obviously. I haven't played since the season.
What games
obviously.
You play?
I play a lot of Call of Duty, Warzone, and then
That's
Rainbow Six Siege. Those are probably the 2 games I play the most.
Yeah.
But I haven't played in a minute. Like, since the season started, I feel like there hasn't been that much time.
Yeah.
Another thing I like to do is cook. I've really been getting into like cooking.
What's
like
your top dish right now to cook?
Some honey lime enchiladas. That's like my go-to right now.
Honey lime enchiladas?
Yeah, they're pretty fire.
That sounds pretty good. Man. I thought you were gonna say like ramen noodles or something. Bro. That's what I would have said.
I've been working on like trying to get a little more complex. With cooking. So that's fun. That's like, especially because I have to eat.
Yeah.
So like every night I'll come home and like just try and figure out something that I can cook, whether it's like a little more complex like that or something simple where it's just like ground beef and sweet potatoes and
we'll find like different ways to change it up.
Change it up. Just work on it. So that's fun. And then just I hang out with like my teammates a lot and just kind of whatever they're doing, I'll
just kick it with them.
Be
with the boys.
Just hang out with them. Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. That's honestly one of the things. I mean, obviously, I'm in that. I just got done playing last year and things of that sort. And I always say all the time, one of the best things or one of the things that you miss the most when you're done playing is really just the brotherhood. You know what I mean? Just being with the boys, and those are going to be the memories that you make with them are going to be the things that you cherish forever, bro. So, bro, I keep enjoying that, man. And so, kind of to just wrap things up and to end things off, man. What is a piece of advice? We ask this to everyone, but what is something that you, one piece of advice, the best piece of advice that you've gotten that's helped you get to where you are now? Something that you would share with maybe, freshman Faletau when he was, in high school?
This is actually coming from Coach Hill, I would say, is there's 2 things. The first thing is he gives us a quote from Vince Lombardi.
Okay.
I got to make sure I get this right. It's a person who commits themselves to excellence. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me think about this.
No, you're good. You're good. Take your time.
Okay. A man's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. So basically, it's just saying like, be great in everything you do, whether it's class, football, like being a brother, being a son, being just like whatever you have in life, like try and be great at everything.
Yeah.
And that'll like lead to success. Coach Hill is really strong on it being like, even the little things of like how we have our team sing along, like little things like that. If you give all your effort in that, he doesn't know how, but somehow it translates to playing in the game or, when you get to see your family, like be the best person you can be. I feel like it's a good motto just for life. Like just always be striving to be your best.
Yeah.
And then the second advice thing I would say is, like just keep your head down and work. Never let it get to you that what you want isn't coming to you. Like it'll come with time. This is what I've been trying to tell my little brother is like, he doesn't have any offers yet going into his senior year. But like, if you truly can play football, like you can play and it'll find you.
Yeah.
Like don't let it get to your head that it's not for you. Like if that's what you want, then keep working at it and eventually you'll get it.
Exactly. Just don't don't be so fixated on like the results, right, that you're trying to get, but like enjoy the process, right? Enjoying the journey. Sure. It's cliche, but it's so true.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that a lot of us players, anyone who's competed, at a high level or anything in life, is that like if you really just focus on the getting 1% better every day, what I mean, and doing the small and simple things, you know what I mean, everything else kind of just gets added onto it. You know what I mean? You look back, you know what I mean? All these safeties that all these picks that you're making, these big plays that you're doing, right? And tackles and things of that sort. It wasn't just like it just happened overnight. It's just a culmination of all your hard work that you put in since day one, right, to get here. And so, Faletau, man, I thank you again for getting on here, bro, and sharing your story with us and just continuing to be an inspiration to everyone that's around you, bro. You're definitely an awesome light to be around, and we appreciate you for being time with us, bro.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me on here.
Thanks for tuning in into another episode of Inside the Why. Please check us out wherever you get your podcast, whether it's on Apple Music, Spotify, or YouTube.